Hello, if you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you can't tell from my accent, I'm Australian, and in Australia we have some pretty amazing game developers, so I thought I would put together a list of some of my favourite games that have been made right here in Australia. So let's get started with what is probably one of the most highly regarded indie games in recent years, and that of course is Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight was created by Adelaide-based developers Team Cherry and helped reinvigorate the 2D Metroidvania genre with a single game. If you have never played this game before, I would highly recommend it. Moving Out is a cooperative moving simulation that was actually a cooperative effort with Australian developers SMG Studio and Swedish developers DevM Games. This game has you moving furniture in any way possible, and best of all, it has local co-op to play with your friends or family. Unfortunately for now though, it does not have online play. So now that you've moved out, the next step is to move in and unpack, which leads us to our next game, Unpacking. Developed by Brisbane-based Wishbeam, Unpacking is a relaxing puzzle game that has you putting away belongings throughout the different stages of the main character's life. I do have a full review of this game linked in the description if you want to know more. Necrobarista is a cinematic visual novel developed by Route 59, set in a magical Melbourne cafe where the dead are granted one last night to mingle with the living. Inspired equally by anime and film, Necrobarista is a unique take on the visual novel medium. So this next game technically is an Australian developer. It was developed in New Zealand, but this is my list and I want to include it, so here it is. Developed by Auckland-based Rainbite, Trigger Witch is a stylized 2D twin-stick action game set in an open world where magic is outdated and firearms are the new way of life. This game is incredibly colourful and is a lot of fun to play. Keeping with the Kiwi theme, we have Umurangi Generation. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Now this game was made in Australia by a solo Maori developer. And for those of you who are not familiar, Maori is used to refer to the native people of New Zealand. The concept of the game's story and themes came from the developer's experience with the bushfires that happened in Australia. Even the name, Umurangi, means red sky in the Maori language, which is another clear reference to the bushfires. During the game, you photograph objects against a cyberpunk backdrop. Developed by Yak & Co in Melbourne, Down in Bermuda is a puzzle adventure game. In the game, an unnatural storm leaves an adventurous aviator stranded for decades within the infamous Bermuda. You'll need to overcome creatures and unravel the island's secrets in order to search for a way back home. This is another game most of you have probably also heard of. And it's also from another Melbourne developer, House. And this is Untitled Goose Game. The stealth puzzle game that is just a bunch of fun and will have you laughing throughout your playthrough. The Gardens Between were developed by the Voxel Agents. In this game, best friends Arena and Friend fall into a series of vibrant, dreamlike island gardens peppered with everyday objects from their childhood. Next on the list we have Yonder the Cloudcatcher Chronicles, developed by Prideful Sloth Games. This relaxing open-world adventure is set in a beautiful, vibrant island, which you have the ability to explore and do things like farming, crafting, cooking, fishing, and build relationships with all the locals. The same developer also developed the next game on my list, which is their newest release, Grow the Song of Evertree. The Evertree is where many worlds resided on its countless branches, and now is nothing more than a sapling. This game looks so wholesome and cozy. Developed by Queensland-based Sidebar Games, Golf Story puts the RPG twist on a typical golf game. The developers even hit a little Easter egg, with the map being the shape of Australia. Tasmania included, although in Golf Story it is connected by a bridge. And for a bonus, here are a couple of upcoming games developed by Australians to keep an eye out for. Starting with Hollow Knight Silksong, the sequel to the award-winning action-adventure game Hollow Knight. In this sequel, you will explore, fight and survive as you ascend to the peak of the land ruled by Silk and Song. Another one that I certainly have my eye on is Cult of the Lamb. Cult of the Lamb casts players in a role of a possessed lamb saved from annihilation by an ominous stranger, and you must repay the debt by building a loyal following in their name. Basically, you're a lamb and you start a cult. I hope you found a new game or two to check out, and if you haven't yet, consider subscribing. I do game reviews, unboxings and lists just like this. And until next time, bye bye!